Hello, my name is Jake, and I was asked to tell about Lifting Laced Rabbits, my experience being with Lifting Laced Rabbits and stuff. And I want to start with Lifting Laced Rabbits. Lifting Laced Rabbits was an overnight success, and it was like kind of like Nirvana. It was great to be in the band, and it was great working with Keith. Keith was great. He was a great musician. As far as lyrics, he was a real lyricist. Uh, I was asked, what it was like. So what it was like. Well, working with Keith was a little bit different. We all miss him. It's a tragic accident that happened recently with his death, and he's well missed. Many circles miss him. He was one of those people that was really introverted. He kept to himself a lot. He did have a friend, a very close friend, and I think she was a real positive influence on him and someone that he needed in his life. He always claimed, that was his love of his life, and I think a lot of his passion and his music showed through with being around her, and his feelings toward her sometimes were reciprocated on paper, and we never had a clue really that we were going to be anything until we ran into him, and he was like, "Hey, you play guitar, I write music, we sing, we got a band," and we had put out a single, and the single went to was on the top 10. And next thing you know, we're at a radio station, we're doing an interview, and Keith gets this idea. He has a song in his head, and he says, "I gotta go." Jumps up out of the interview, and he runs outside, and he writes down the song, and he's sitting there, and we come out, and we play guitar with him, and then the drums. We backed him up. We had our instruments there. We're gonna play for inside the band, inside the radio station, anyways. And next thing you know, we had a crowd gathered around, and I think by the end of the day, we had about 1,000 people come by, and it was the first time ever that we ever felt like that. We were somebody, and we were going to be somebody. We knew then at that time, and we went out to California, and we ended up getting a contract with BMI, and we recorded with them. And his friend was back home at this time, and I think it was really one of his sad times because he didn't get to see her much or talk to her much, and she had kids that he was really fond of and things like that. And he wrote some really out of place songs, but when our habits got out of hand down there, I think that's when we were recreational users, but you just handed us a couple $1 million. Now we're a little bit advanced, and 2 albums. It was a tragedy. We get compared to Nirvana a lot, being like an overnight success, and then Kurt Cobain's in his own world. He's definitely one of the best, and we were overnight success like that too, but and the tragic followed us too as well. 2 of our band members, Keith and then Nick, both died, and music, it was a time that we were like, midlife probably for most of us. I think Jimmy was a little bit younger than us. He was probably in his 20s, and he was kicking in with his playing bass, but the rest of us, we were, older guys, middle-aged guys, and we, never knew what success looked like, and here we are, middle of our life, and we have everything, in our hand, and 2 albums later, a couple tours. It was 5 years, and it was a wild 5 years. It was great. We have a lot of material left over, I think, that we're going to put out in this last album. Keith always wanted 3 albums out. He said he wanted to do 3 albums, and he had them named already, he had them planned out. And working with him was like he was a genius at producing things. He heard things in his head, and he was able to figure out how to put them there and make things work together. And he did it really well and methodically. And it was one of the best, experiences of my life, being with him and getting to do this type of stuff. So, it was a great time for Lifting Laced Rabbits. And so, we recorded a lot of stuff too that never got released, and that's what this 3rd album's going to be. And I think I'm going to follow it up with a book. We're going to talk about a little bit about our lives and stuff. Mine was pretty quiet. Keith and I were pretty much introverted people. Like he spent a lot of time with that girl. They would run and go to places like Jamaica, and they'd be on the beach, and you call him up, and, he's supposed to be in LA, get ready to do a recording session with him. She's like, "No, I'm on the beach in Jamaica. I'll be back in a couple of days." And it was hard to track him down sometimes. Him and her, though, they would spend a lot of time together and going places and doing things and just enjoying life. So I know that, he was enjoying life, and he really was happy at this time, probably the happiest time of his life. So This was you know, for me it was I was really into the music, and I was caught up in that, and my drinking got out of hand where his speed got out of hand. He was, Lithium Lace Rabbits was written about a lot of methamphetamine type use and things like that. It was about the ill effects of it, really, for Keith. He wrote he wrote like how attractive it was. He always described Crystal as a girl, as a person, and he said that she was so alluring, but at the same time, she was Medusa, always in disguise, and she was the banshee, or the creatures out in the sea. What do they call them? Sirens. And he said that she definitely had his hooks in them, and even his friend, he kept her private, away from the public eye. She had talked to us several times about it, and she said she was concerned for him toward the end. He had started messing around with heroin, and he was speedballing, and he said that, he never thought he would ever get to that point where he was doing that, and his depression would kick in from time to time, and he never felt worthy of his success. It was like he knew that he did this, and he was proud of himself, but at the same time, sometimes he would have a hard time being humble about it. He said, I don't deserve this, and he went through these ups and downs. It's like anybody without, my alcohol was the same way, really. With alcohol, I went through these ups and downs. I was, abusive to Samantha. She did not like me, divorced me because of it. This was a rough time for us and a great time at the same time. And we never knew that, he would end up dying, and the band would be like where we are now. We don't plan on ever going out again and recording or trying to get another frontman either. This is something we put together, and we'll be happy to get this third album out. Because it was studio stuff we worked on, and we will definitely put it out there for people, and tune in. We'll give you a little bit more updates and stuff, and we'll tell you a little bit more about the band and things like that. But look forward to summer. Lithium Laced Rabbits, last album, Shadow People. That's a really good album. We got some great songs on there. Hazmat's going to be on there, and a few other things. Peace. This is Jake. Have a nice night. Sayonara.